Greetings and welcome to News Humor. And if this is your first time joining us, let me extend an invitation to come and join us again. We are News Humor, and this is where if the news doesn't make you laugh, it'll make you cry. Today, we got breaking news. We just found out that the Federal Reserve can just make up money. They can just make up currency. And we get this important news for you today from Mr. Warren Buffett himself. Let's listen to this.
Given the unprecedented time of the economy and the debt level, could there be any risks and consequences of the U.S. government defaulting on its bonds?
No. The United States has been smart enough, and people have trusted us enough to issue its debt in its own currency. And Argentina is now having a problem because the debt isn't in their own currency, and lots of countries have had that problem, and lots of countries will have that problem in the future. It is very painful to owe money in somebody else's currency, but if I could issue a currency, Buffett bucks, and I had a printing press, and I could borrow money, in that, I would never default.
Wow, that was really interesting. We don't have any worries about paying off the national debt because, well, it's our own currency that we're paying in. Man, Jacob will be really happy to know that we're not really selling our children's future, just kind of for play. Anyways, for countries like Argentina, they're not so lucky. They're actually purchasing our money, which we're just kind of making out of thin air. And because we're making more of it out of thin air, their value in the currency that they purchased actually becomes less. And if you listen real closely, Warren Buffett kind of insinuates it right here.
If you print bonds in your own currency, what happens to the currency can be a question. But you don't default.
Yeah, because if we just print as much money as we wish, then no telling what could happen to our currency. I keep on using those words interchangeably. I don't think they mean the same thing, because Warren Buffett definitely keeps saying currency through this interview. See, it all starts in Congress. Congress writes up this thing called a bill. And a bill is, one of those things that can become a permanent statute for the United States of America, but it's also something that you have to pay when the check comes around and you just bought all of your friends a really expensive dinner. Man, why did I do that? Anyways, Congress writes the bill, they put it together, and they pass it. And then it goes to the president's desk. And at this point in time, it's still a bill because the president has not enacted it into one of those statutes we were talking about earlier. And the president, or the president, issues his signature to say, yes, we wish to bear liability for this bill. And then he passes it on to you, the taxpayer, because at that point it becomes an actual statute. But they really did borrow a couple $1 trillion from the Federal Reserve, and somebody has to pay that back. And for most of our recent history, it seems to be the taxpayer. I don't know how that works out, but you gotta love government. Isn't it grand? And if this is your first time finding out about it, and you've never known about this before, don't feel too bad, because at least you're not one of those people in Argentina or one of the numerous third world countries that we kind of loan our currency to every year, and they have to pay it back in dollars, because those people are giving up their natural resources and their real wealth for numbers on a computer screen. Anyways, thanks for joining us for this episode of News Humor. We hope to see you back someday soon. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know of a good way to end this. How should I end this? I just got a green screen. Did y'all notice that?